up, you guys? It's Mary.
And Amma.
Leave by chest a like,
Share,
subscribe,
and comment.
down below, y'all. Today we are going to be talking about why Morant wants to be a gangbanger so bad.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with y'all. Like, last time, which was not too long ago, since like 2 months ago. Was it 2 months ago? He was suspended for what, like 8 games, right? Came back just in time, for them to make a run, in the playoffs. And then, he seemed contrite enough when he had the interview with, what's his name, Jalen Rose. But then after that, it's like, okay, the Grizzlies didn't win, whatever. You've already signed your contract, a big contract at that. Nike was behind you, the commissioner was behind you. You spoke to him, gave some promises. I'm just like I was hopeful that you will get it together, change your environment. I was hopeful also that your so-called friends will, because they're not friends, but your so-called friends will look at that and be like, something, we really got to do right by Ja and make sure that we are protective of him, and not be out here doing stuff, that's going to be a bad reflection of him. Not only did you not change the so-called friends, but you have one of them videotaping you, putting you on Instagram Live, and you were there, with a gun.
No, because what happened was I actually saw the Instagram Live, and what happened was they were in the car. The friend, I don't know, I think the friend was driving or something, or maybe they had the car parked. But he was basically on live. The friend was recording it. Ja was in the passenger seat and everything, and the friend was doing this with his hand or whatever, stuff like that. And then Ja was doing the same thing. And then all of a sudden you just see him kind of go to the back and grab a gun. And then you see him do this, with the actual gun.
Yeah.
But the friend quickly put the phone down. My thing is, honestly, I can't even
down that quickly.
He did though.
Enough.
The friend actually did put it. Well, the thing is, the friend is looking at the phone. He's not looking at what Ja is doing. My thing is, I can't even blame the friend at this point because, I don't know if he is smoking weed or what, but you saw your friends recording you.
Something else.
You actually saw him
more that you're
recording you. And you decided, oh, we're on Instagram Live. Let me flex. Let me go grab the gun. You actually didn't have to go grab the gun. Because you actually saw with your own 2 eyes that you guys had started Instagram Live. There was no point for him to go to the back, grab the gun, and flash it in front of the camera. You just went through this.
And the thing
it don't make sense.
What I want to also say is this. The friend is on Instagram Live. Knowing, and he's the one who's driving, because he was in the driver's seat, knowing that there's a gun in the car. I got to go on Instagram Live, knowing that there's a gun in the car at the back. So when you're doing your stuff like this, you never know.
Holding the phone.
Yeah, you never know what is at the back because you're looking at yourself. You're looking at yourself, but your phone is like this. We could have seen the back seat where he went to get the gun. I don't even know, after your whole thing with the whole gun thing, and with the culture that's happening there in America now, where you have these mass shootings and everything, you're a professional NBA player.
You want to be a thug so bad. Even the thugs don't want to be thugs, if we're being honest.
Yeah. And there are certain things, as an employee, that you are not to do. Period. Everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows who you represent. There's some companies that you work for that you also cannot even do that.
And the sponsorships you have.
And so, exactly. So now, really, I feel as though probably he's gonna lose some of those sponsorships. Because they're gonna be like, okay, he really doesn't get it and he's really not taking this stuff seriously at all. Because, like you said, it just happened. You just went through this. You were just contrite.
He didn't make it to the playoffs. He decided, hey, I can be free.
I'm not making no excuses for this fool.
No, I'm not making an excuse, but I'm saying No, I'm saying because the thing is, he's probably thinking, oh, I'm in the clear or whatever because I'm not going to the playoffs. Like, I mean, also
you're in the clear. You're
like this doesn't make sense.
First of all, he's been in the NBA for 4 years now. Even when you guys go out for the summer, there are things you can't do. You guys can't go and take part in some extreme sports,
like jumping out of a plane and stuff like that.
So there are things you're not even allowed to do, even when you're not actively playing.
Yeah.
And but I think he's on something more than weed. That's what I think. I think he is on something more than weed. I think that very immature. I think that he doesn't care about his own life, let alone the people that he represents. You know?
Like there's nothing
And the
funny.
friends that you have, they're not true friends. If I am your true friend, you're not bringing a gun in my car that's in the back seat. You're just not. Like, you're not. I'm going to be like, bruh, okay, you know something? When you stop carrying, when you stop packing, then call me. But at this point, you're going to have to call some other cat to pick you up. Because I'm gone. Like if I am your true friend. But he's not a true friend. The gun at the back, you hear with your phone. I got a gun at the back. I'm not on Instagram at all. I got a gun in the back seat. You know why? Because it's so easy to be like this with your phone. And you know how people, they look at your phone, they always can see. Look, remember what happened to Kevin Samuels? He was like live, right?
And he had some
was
man
talking,
in his bed.
And then someone saw, like he had some mirror, I guess, on his table or something, and so you can see the reflection of this guy on the bed laying up.
Well, he wearing some leopard print panties or something.
And he's kitten's heels, and the next thing you know, right, it was like, because it's live. Like, see, sometimes
my thing is also, I just don't get the point of flaunting a gun. Like, there's nothing funny about it because one, you could shoot yourself in the head for one while you're there flaunting it. Two, so many people have died by guns.
And the way he's acting, he's dumb enough to have the loaded gun.
It's nothing to celebrate. Like every other week, we are hearing about a school shooting or a mall shooting, and you think it's funny to have a gun. Even thugs don't want to be thugs. And thugs don't want to have to be going out there killing multiple people to make money. Like, it's a very dangerous life. You're always having to look over your shoulder. You're never safe. Your family is never safe. So even thugs don't really generally want to be in that life. But you, who are an NBA player, are living a quite a privileged life, have decided that I am going to be trying to be a gangbanger. If you want to be a gangbanger, then maybe you should get the hell out the league and go be a gangbanger. Go do that. But for you to sit down here like an idiot, a full-time athlete, like making millions of dollars, to flaunt a gun for what? Like, it's giving illiterate, as if like you don't even know ABCs. Yeah, it don't make sense. No, like, why would you do that?
And then the other thing, I just wonder, I just wonder, like,
funny about holding
you're like
gun?
23 years old. At some point, I know people are like, oh, where is his parents at, and this and that. You know, sometimes, you know, these young people, they don't want to listen either, you know? So what do you want his father to do? Maybe he could do what happened to Britney Spears. Maybe he could, you know, declare him mentally unstable right now. And in that case, you can go against his will to put him maybe in some kind of treatment center. Maybe that's what will need to happen. Or, I mean, but I really feel as this point, the people who can do the most probably is the NBA. Is those endorsements.
I feel like they're probably going to have to give him a harsher
punishment. Where they
punishment.
will say, you need to complete this amount of time with... But the NBA also, like, they check, you know, they do these drug checks, but they're not playing right now.
So there's no
So I'm
need.
not quite sure what... But if I'm Adam Sandler... Not Adam Sandler. Anyway, Adam, the commissioner. I can't remember what this man's last name is. But anyhow, if I'm him, I would just say, look, you got to be there in this treatment center or whatever for, like, at this point, shoot.
But my thing is, what treatment does he need, though?
He needs some kind of drug treatment because he's not thinking clearly. He also needs to be in some counseling therapy to figure out what is going on with him. And that's what he needs to do at this point.
But honestly,
and then the other thing, too, you have a child. you're acting this way, you can lose custody of that child. Also,
if he even has custody.
I mean,
I mean, most of the time the mother the one who have full custody. I don't see
but
him having.
but a lot of times they don't even go through that to do the paperwork. Look at what happened with Mariah Carey. I was even surprised that she did not have like full custody of those kids. When I got a divorce, that's the first thing I did. I want
Yeah.
full legal and physical custody of the children because they're going to be with me most of the time. My daughter at the time, she has a heart condition. So if I have to make a decision, I don't have time to go and try to find a father to try to figure out what else. So that was my first thing. That's the first thing that's in that divorce stuff. Because
well, the thing is,
that you
Nick
have to
wasn't
have-
making money like that at
Yeah.
the time. If anything, Mariah was more busy
So that's
than
why-
him. So
but-
that's why they will probably have joint custody because he probably has more time than she does. So maybe that's
But
why they were
no,
doing
he was
half-half.
busy. He was
wasn't
also
that
busy.
busy.
He was doing some things. But I was surprised that the kids are with her most of the time. Like they live with her most of the time. They weren't like half of the time with Nick, half of the time with her. Because kids have to be in school. So they have to be with one parent
But you never
most
know.
of the
Nick
time.
probably lives in the neighborhood. Or maybe
I
the
was
neighborhood
just
over.
surprised, and then it's only now because this has been going on for years. I was surprised that Mariah did not have the full custody of the children. So that's why I'm saying with Ja, he's I don't think he's married, but though the
Of course
mother
not.
of his child probably. I mean, if I'm thinking Mariah, I already have custody of the children. I want I maybe the mother of the child is thinking, not to. But if I am her, I will. At this point, this is a good time to file for full legal and physical custody of the children of the child he has, and this is a good time to do that. While while he's working on getting himself together, and that doesn't mean that I had full physical and legal custody of my children, but their father had access to them. Like he could come at any time and say, "Hey, I want to have the kids for the whole summer." That would have been great. That would have been wonderful. Never occurred, but that would have been great. Or let me have them for the whole Christmas. That would have been awesome. But so it doesn't mean that because you have this custody, that means the other parent can't see the child. But it just means that you got it, just in case. In this particular situation, with Ja acting the plum.
I doubt that he's
at the
even
age
a
of
present father.
23,
Because the fact that you're out here
you know.
every other week with a gun, I feel like he's probably thinking in his mind, which I'm sure this is what he's thinking. What's the big deal? All I'm doing is waving a gun. I'm not actually going to shoot anybody. For me, it's just the image of it all, and then also it's the way you're flaunting it. It's cool because if you think it's something cool, when it's actually not cool at all whatsoever. Like if anything, it's kind of degenerate that you think is cool. Like so many people have died.
It's hot here.
Thugs don't want to be living that life. Like I said,
Yeah.
at this point, you are not a gangbanger. You are not a thug. You're not out here getting fast money. And if you have decided to be doing that as an NBA player,
fast money of the NBA, you ain't gonna be getting that no more.
Like it don't make no sense. At this point, either they might. I mean, if this continues, they probably will have to drop him. Because I feel like maybe the consequences were not harsh enough. That's why he is here. And he's still chilling, waving the gun like it's another
reason why
Wednesday.
they were not enough is because the Grizzlies, it comes down to money again. The Grizzlies were going to be in the playoffs and all that stuff. You don't want him to be gone for a while because he brings in a lot of money, brings in a lot of ticket sales and all that stuff. But yeah, they weren't. So I think this time they're going to be quite harsh.
Well, they can because he's no longer in the playoffs. So they can really extend it for a really long time. They don't need him.
He's on contract.
Yeah, he's on contract.
They can say when the open season, when it starts in September or October, like, you are going to be, like, you can't be there for a certain amount of the season. You know what I'll do also? I will also say, and if you guys make the playoffs, part of that time that you miss is also going to be time for the playoffs as well. For the first series, you can't be a part of it. Like, just some really...
That's not until next year.
Yeah, that's not until next
year. I doubt that they're going to wait a whole year to punish him.
No, I'm saying part of the time you do miss games from the pre-playoff season, and then you miss games during the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
But we'll see what they do. But this time, Ja, I don't see them going that easy on you anymore. I really don't. Because now what you have shown,
That you don't give a damn.
yeah, you have shown that you need more intense help than what you got before. Because that was a help, a time for you to just think. And he sounded so contrite when he spoke to Jalen Rose. But I kind of know young people too, and I've been young myself, so I was just kind of like, he sounds contrite, but in my heart I was like, I'll see what I see, and kind of
The thing is, he
me
was
right.
uncomfortable at that time, so he felt contrite. But I feel like when bad things happen, as young people, we feel bad in the moment. But after things they kind of settled, we kind of were like, oh, yeah, well, I feel good now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good.
I'm good. Yes. Foolishness.
But yeah,
Very
yo.
disappointing, and I'm sure a lot of these fans very disappointing.
Yeah.
Recently someone was talking about what are like these players that we're seeing coming up, like the Jazz, Giannis and all that stuff. We have had such a wonderful time of players who have been good role models because you had like LeBron for this past 20 years. Who is going to be next? Steph Curry also is older. Who is going to be next? Like, it just seems like some of these young players, like, one, have no respect for the older players. We saw that with Dylan Brooks. We saw that with the Jermichael Green and all this foolishness. And it's not about being scared of a player. It's just having a healthy respect for another professional like yourself. It's like a mentality of either I'm never going to get old, I'm never going to be in this position that these older players are. That feeling that you get like I'm indestructible, and no one is, or I'm indispensable, like no one is going to get rid of me because I'm too important. You sniffing yourself way too much, feeling like it's great to have confidence, but then when it becomes arrogance and you become a little stupid, But I just wonder when I look at Ja, I mean, at least you have Giannis, which is great. It's wonderful that we have someone like Giannis, who looks like as though they want to take that mantle. You have Jokic. But you know what I think to myself? Like, listen, I am a foreign born, right? You have all these players who seem to be on the up and up, who seem to be like, you know, they're being the role player. They're being like good role models. I would like to see, when you think of like the R.J. Barrett, the John Moran, you have Donovan Mitchell. I want to see American players, taking on my matter. I'm going to be this role player. So it's just sad when you see someone like a John Moran, like doing all of this stuff. But
I just wonder if things were going on with him because the reason I was just chuckling.
But I want to finish this point. But I just want to say, someone asked that question, and I guess they were kind of perturbed, thinking that, we're not going to have some really great role models after the LeBrons and the Steph Curry, right? But I think we will. Like I've called, look, a handful. Donovan Mitchell, R.J. Barrett. You got De'Aaron Fox, right? You have, what's that guy's name? The one who's dating your girl, Jordan. Is her name Jordan? Jordan Woods. What's his name?
Yeah, Jordan Woods.
Yeah, the one who's dating Jordan. He plays for Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't know why I can't remember his name. So there were some wonderful American players who are role models. So I don't think we need to worry about the next generation of players. There are a lot of role models, but I just really felt that Ja was going to be one of them, and it's sad that he's not going to be. Right now, hopefully, Jalen Rose believes in you, Ja. He said he used to be really bad, but thank God there was no social media at the time. Hopefully, you will get your shit together, but the punishment has to be very harsh.
I just wonder what was going on with him during the playoffs and stuff, because I remember he had dove on AD
Yeah.
like did a whole dive
Yeah.
over AD. That I remember he
Missed
tried to
his
jump
hand up.
over LeBron James, and then he ended up
was
on the
stuck.
floor like this.
I know.
And I just was
Like,
like,
he was
why would you make
confused.
those decisions?
How come
like
he's immovable? How come he didn't move?
I
He
was
was
just like,
confused
why are
that
you
he
jumping
fell.
over them? They're like much taller than you and
bigger.
also bigger. And it just seemed,
And
I was
stronger.
just like, what is he smoking? Like, I mean, I know
He
weed
did
is
that,
legal
yeah.
in the league. But when he dove on top of Anthony and
Yeah.
then he was like in the corner like this, like by the rim after he had fallen on top of LeBron, like he was just confused as to how like the bad decision he made didn't work out during the game. So I don't know. That
And LeBron kind of broke his fall a little bit.
Yeah, he really did. Because he could have just
and
stayed
underneath him, right, so that he doesn't like fall too badly. But yeah, he
something
was
ain't
good,
wrong.
so-
Something ain't right with that boy. That's all I got to say. But we're at 20 minutes now, so it's
Yeah.
Mary.
And Alma.
We invite y'all to like,
Share,
subscribe,
and comment.